Well guys, we now have finally come to the penultimate Star Wars movie, the finale of the original trilogy, and at the time the final Star Wars movie. But did you know at the time the film was originally titled Revenge of the Jedi? Only at the last minute did George Lucas change the title from Revenge to Return, just so it would save a $900 million budget on putting the film's title on merchandise. Say what you want about George Lucas's writing and direction, but you can't deny he's a damn good entrepreneur. Star Wars Episode 6 Return of the Jedi, directed by Richard Marquand, and is the third and final chapter in the original Star Wars trilogy, and at the time the final Star Wars movie, until of course Episode 7 The Force Awakens was made and J.J. Abrams came along. But anyway, Return of the Jedi has always been considered the most disappointing of the original trilogy. Some people even flat out hate Return of the Jedi. For example, remember the scene in X-Men Apocalypse when our heroes actually went to see Return of the Jedi and they walked out saying,
"Third one's always the worst."
However, there are some who consider Return of the Jedi underrated, and my good friend Mr. TARDIS 11 and Ollie Pajak, he absolutely loves Return of the Jedi. He even goes as far as calling it the best of the 7 Star Wars films, and I agree with you, man. Return of the Jedi, it's so underrated. It is a great film, though I am sad to say it is my least favourite of the original trilogy. It's the only one of the original 3 that I do feel has its flaws, or at least has things that could have been improved. Well, for starters, it immediately picks up from that amazing cliffhanger set by Empire Strikes Back. I bet fans were pissed off that they had to wait 3 years after that incredible cliffhanger to see the next chapter. Well, we finally got it, and it does open with this amazing opening of Darth Vader just walking onto the second Death Star. But the second Death Star, a little bit of a stupid idea. I mean, Empire, your Death Star got destroyed in the first movie. Isn't the exact same thing gonna happen here anyway? Darth Vader still remains the intimidating, ruthless, badass villain he was in Empire Strikes Back by he being pissed off by his general's lack of progress with constructing the Death Star, and he informs them the Emperor is coming here and he is not as forgiving as he is. Well, you should talk, Darth Vader. You kill them. Anyway, so 3PO and R2, Luke, Leia, Chewie, and Lando are all on a epic rescue mission to rescue Han Solo from the clutches of the gangster Jabba the Hutt. Now, I am so glad in the original cut they did not show Jabba in Episode 4. Seeing Jabba in Return of the Jedi is so much better. It's so much more of a surprise, and the puppetry on Jabba is outstanding. It's brilliant. The amount of people it took to work him and help him breathe and help him talk, and even his voice is creepy as hell. This is what they could do with puppetry before the days of CGI, and of Jabba, of course, it does not take kindly to this, and he wants to keep Han forever prisoner, and he enslaves 3PO and R2 and Chewbacca, and even enslaves Leia. And seeing Carrie Fisher in that bikini, I'm sure a lot of male fans would have got their dream at the time. I love Luke in this film. Luke is character arc is almost fully complete. This is essentially Luke's movie. He is a fully capable and powerful wise Jedi now. He is a total badass, and he just comes into Jabba's palace and force chokes his pig guards to death to show how confident he is, and he warns Jabba, let his friends go and do not underestimate his power. But of course Jabba doesn't listen and pays the price for it. He puts Luke in the Rancor pit, and the Rancor looks freaking awesome. That looked like a real creature again. They achieved that without CGI, and it's one of my personal favourite monsters in Star Wars. And So Luke kills the Rancor, and Jabba sentences uh, Luke and Han and Lando to death in the Sarlacc pits. Turns into this epic escape scene when Luke just bursts out his lightsaber, and this is the first time we actually saw a green lightsaber for a Jedi, because in the previous two films they had just been blue, and his new lightsaber, it's awesome. I love it, and Leia actually does some a badass thing in this film, other than being the damsel in distress. She actually kills Jabba herself, which proves she doesn't need a man to save her. Although Boba Fett does die very anticlimactically and stupidly in this scene. Han just knocks him back accidentally and he falls into the pit. What a waste of a beloved character. But overall, the rescuing Han from Jabba, it was a great, epic and exciting way to start the movie. After all that excitement, the Emperor Palpatine, or Darth Sidious, whatever you call him, this was the first proper time we're introduced to him. We caught a glimpse of him in Empire Strikes Back, but here we finally see him in the flesh, and he arrives on the second Death Star, and he and Darth Vader are plotting their diabolical plan to turn Luke to the dark side, which is such a compelling storyline. We finally get to see a relationship between Darth Vader and the Emperor, which we never really saw in the first two films. The main villain was always Darth Vader, and Ian McDiarmid, perfect as the Emperor, just as good here as he was in Revenge of the Sith, though in Revenge of the Sith he got more to do. So Luke then goes back to Dagobah to complete his Jedi training. However, sadly, Yoda is 500, so of course he's gonna die soon. However, before he does die, he does tell Luke the truth that Darth Vader is his father and Vader wasn't lying to him. And Luke even is pissed off. He confesses to Obi-Wan, "Why did you lie to me?" And Obi-Wan just says in return, "What I told you was true from a certain point of view." And why didn't you tell Luke that Leia was his sister sooner? That's some pretty big information. And when Luke finds out that Leia is his sister, he must have been thinking, "Holy crap, I just kissed my own sister." That could have been avoided if I'd known the truth, but Obi-Wan and Yoda tell Luke throughout the film, "You must confront Darth Vader," but Luke doesn't want to kill his father. He's only just found out he's had a father, and that's the most compelling storyline in the film. The Skywalker family are uniting together, and that's been the theme throughout the episodic films. This family, the Skywalker family, which has always been the heart. It is essentially a space opera. So when the rebellion plots their plan to destroy the Empire once and for all, and the second Death Star, when Han and Lando meet up again, they immediately forgive each other. I'm like, Lando betrayed you in Empire Strikes Back. Why are you not taking more time to forgive him? Anyway, so the Skywalker clan head down to Endor, which is a forest planet. It looks beautiful, by the way, to destroy the shield generator that's protecting the Death Star, and we get this awesome speeder chase and showdown, which is obviously shot against a moving screen, but it looks cool, so much better than a fake green screen looking background. And then, of course, we get to the biggest problem I have with this movie, and everyone will agree, the Ewoks. I mean, I don't hate the Ewoks. What purpose do the Ewoks serve in the film other than to just be the army to assist the rebellion in taking down the Empire, and just to get their own spin-off shows and sell cuddly toys, which is probably why George Lucas created them. But Warwick Davis plays the head Ewok Wicket, and he's great as always, so I can at least give them that. But when they think 3PO is a god and are trying to cook them, I mean, like, that was complete filler. You really didn't need that in the film. I'm like, just get to Luke confronting Darth Vader, just get to the final battle already. And yeah, that part with the Ewoks did kind of drag a little, but when Luke goes off to face Vader and he says goodbye to Leia, which is a great emotional scene, and Leia finds out that Vader is Luke's father and she is his sister, she is in utter shock. But why doesn't she have a moment where she thinks Darth Vader is her father? I mean, I think she should have gone up there too, because it applies to her as much as him. She has to face her father, and I I really wish Padme was still alive, because then she could have unexpectedly revealed herself. That would have been a shocking twist that we wouldn't expect, and it would unite the Skywalker family together in the final confrontation with the Emperor. That was kind of a missed opportunity for me. But anyway, when Luke does meet up with Darth Vader, he willingly surrenders, and him and Darth Vader get this great conversation where Luke is trying his best to turn his father back to the good side because he knows there's good in his father, but Vader just doesn't listen. He believes he has sold his soul to the Emperor and he can't go back. But despite this, Luke still refuses to give up, even when brought before the Emperor. And the final battle of the movie begins, and it is truly epic. It's 3 different battles going on at once. At least the Luke and Vader fight with the Emperor is by far the most engaging part of it, but we do need to see the battle on Endor and space battle as well to see the destruction of the Death Star. However, this final battle really makes the Empire look so weak, how they're just taken down by these teddy bear-like creatures so easily. I mean, it's kind of like the Battle of Pandora in Avatar, but at least in the Battle of Pandora, the Na'vi faced a challenge. The RDA provided a formidable threat for the Na'vi, and it wasn't until Awa unleashed the creatures of Pandora did the Na'vi take victory. With the Ewoks, they just defeat the Stormtroopers so easy, so there's really not much tension in this battle, but Han, Leia and Chewie still get great moments, and the space battle with Lando flying the Millennium Falcon and that fish guy saying it's a trap, that's awesome. There was tension there with Lando and the Rebel fleet trying to stay alive against the Death Star until the shield was destroyed. And now back to the Luke and Vader fight. When Vader suggests turning Leia to the dark side, when Luke refuses, Luke, boy, he loses it and just destroys Vader in a fit of rage. And Luke, in one moment, finally sees that he's becoming more and more like his father and just refuses to return to the dark side. But the Emperor gets pissed and just throws bolt after bolt of Sith lightning at Luke and Vader. He's making such the biggest decision of his life. Do I let my son die, or do I turn back to Anakin and betray my master? Well, my master isn't my friend. He wiped out the Jedi, made me think I murdered my wife, and now he's trying to murder my son. So I love how Vader finally redeems himself and destroys the Emperor, defeats the Sith as the prophecy said, and saves the galaxy. Why did George Lucas have to put that stupid no in there? That kind of ruined the moment. But then we get the death of Darth Vader, which is beautifully done. When Luke takes his helmet off, we don't see him as Darth Vader anymore. We see him as Anakin Skywalker. And even though it cost him his life, he died redeeming himself and fulfilling the prophecy, and died saving the galaxy and his son. And that scene makes me cry every time. Who would have thought we would have actually cried and felt sorry at the death of cinema's greatest villain? That's a compelling drama. Why can't all of this movie be as good as that? So the Death Star destroyed. Luke burns his father's body and gives him a worthy funeral, and the entire galaxy is celebrating the end of the Empire. It's the happiest ending we've gotten in Star Wars so far. It is such an uplifting ending to see Luke with Ghost Obi-Wan, Yoda and Anakin, whether you like him played by Hayden Christensen or not, and just our heroes united together, and finally they've won, they've done it. And that at the time was the end, until Episode 7 came along. So Return of the Jedi, not perfect, definitely the weakest of the originals for me, but still a great film, very underrated, and still a grand finale to the originals.
I give Return of the Jedi 4.5 stars out of 5.
Well, I love you guys. Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed this review. And just one more Star Wars review to go. Stay tuned for Force Awakens review, and then my ranking, and then Rogue One review. And what do you think of Return of the Jedi? Comment, let me know. Please like this video and subscribe. Be sure on Twitter and on Google+. And I'll see you all next time. Bye, guys.